Najee Davenport, the bizarre break-in Super Bowl champion, NFL running back, physical powerhouse. Najee Davenport possessed all the credentials of gridiron greatness with the Green Bay Packers and Pittsburgh Steelers. Yet history remembers him not for touchdowns, but for an inexplicable April 2002 incident that defies comprehension. Barry University, 2 a.m. While a female student slept peacefully, an intruder violated her space in the most peculiar manner imaginable. The victim awoke to unusual sounds emanating from her closet, grunting noises that preceded a shocking discovery. What authorities found wasn't stolen property or damaged belongings, but something far stranger: a laundry basket containing human feces. Davenport's actions transcended typical criminal behavior. He deliberately chose a student's hamper as a makeshift toilet, committing an act so bizarre it became legendary for all the wrong reasons. Here was a professional athlete capable of elite performance, caught in an animalistic moment that destroyed his public image permanently. Criminal charges followed: felony burglary and criminal mischief. His draft stock plummeted as the story spread. Davenport's defensive response, demanding proof and evidence, only amplified the absurdity. Despite playing 7 NFL seasons and earning a championship ring while rushing for nearly 2,000 yards, none of it mattered. Teammates dubbed him Dookie and Davenpoop. His athletic accomplishments vanished beneath the weight of one incomprehensible decision. Sam Hurd, the hidden network in 2011. Sam Hurd embodied the American dream, an undrafted receiver who fought his way to a $5 million Chicago Bears contract. Publicly, he was a reliable veteran and special teams contributor. Privately, he orchestrated something infinitely darker: an industrial drug operation while simultaneously studying NFL playbooks. Hurd's numbers told a chilling story, but they weren't athletic statistics. He negotiated with undercover agents for massive quantities: 510 kilograms of cocaine and 1,000 pounds of marijuana weekly. This wasn't supplemental income, it was empire building. While performing under America's brightest stadiums on Sundays, he was constructing a distribution network measured in tons. This receiver wasn't just catching passes, he was attempting to corner an entire region's narcotics trade. His downfall came at a Chicago steakhouse. Meeting supposed partners who were actually federal agents, Hurd revealed his ambitions openly. He allegedly boasted about NFL players as customers, transforming locker rooms into distribution points. Handcuffs closed the operation before it truly began. The Bears, having invested millions in someone they considered trustworthy, found themselves entangled in federal conspiracy charges. Federal court delivered 15 years. Hurd transitioned from NFL stardom to concrete walls, sacrificing his physical prime for criminal aspirations. His name serves as warning. The player running deep routes might be sprinting towards something far worse than defeat. Josh Brent, The Fatal Choice, December 8, 2012. Josh Brent, massive Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle with promising prospects, stood beside burning wreckage at 2:21 a.m. Watching his closest friend perish, what began as teammate camaraderie dissolved in alcohol-fueled catastrophe and twisted metal. The numbers haunt: blood alcohol content of 0.18, more than double legal limits, high-speed driving. A Mercedes clipping a curb, flipping, erupting in flames. Passenger Jerry Brown, practice squad player and Brent's confidant, died at the scene. No villain existed except choice, the decision to drive impaired. Brent's desperate attempt to extract his dying friend from the inferno became a highway horror witnessed by first responders who discovered a professional athlete weeping over his best friend's body. The courtroom became theater of profound pain. Facing 20 years for intoxication manslaughter, Brent encountered an unexpected twist. Jerry Brown's mother publicly forgave him. She sat beside him, requested leniency, and held his hand. How does justice proceed when victims' families extend compassion? 180 days imprisonment. 10 years probation. Brent briefly returned to football, but Jerry Brown's ghost followed constantly. He retired shortly after, shattered by one night's devastating consequences. His story exemplifies how loyalty and friendship can end in tragedy. Mark Chmura. The shattered image Green Bay's frozen tundra knew Mark Chmura as a hero. Three-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, Brett Favre's reliable target. He represented wholesome Wisconsin values and family integrity. April 2000 destroyed that image at a post-prom party, replacing Chewy with a mugshot accused of unconscionable acts. Charges included third-degree sexual assault and child enticement. The accuser, his children's 17-year-old babysitter. This wasn't misunderstanding. It was a sordid narrative of a 31-year-old superstar in hot tubs with teenagers, drinking until moral boundaries vanished. A teenage employee claimed he lured her into a bathroom and violated her while classmates partied nearby. The power imbalance proved stark. Millionaire athlete versus teenage employee. He weighed 250 pounds. She was a child. The accusation centered on entitlement, a man believing status granted immunity. The case gripped national attention. A critical moment arrived when a witness testified seeing the victim enter the bathroom smiling, evidence the defense weaponized effectively. After extensive deliberation, not guilty resonated through the courtroom. Chmura wept, his wife beside him. Yet while law granted freedom, the NFL imposed permanent exile. Acquittal didn't restore reputation. The Green Bay Packers severed ties immediately. No franchise would touch the controversy. His career ended at 31. A decade-built image evaporated in one night. The family man became a permanent ghost in Packers lore. Joe McKnight. The highway confrontation Joe McKnight was supposed to become the next Reggie Bush. Five-star recruit, USC standout, New York Jets, weapon. He possessed extraordinary speed and elusiveness. December 2016, his speed ended abruptly at a Louisiana intersection. This wasn't goal line defense. It was a 5-mile highway dispute, ending in death. A rolling argument became a pursuit. The outcome: 3 gunshots, hand, shoulder, chest. McKnight, unarmed and standing outside his vehicle, faced Ronald Gasser, who, determined a traffic slight, deserved execution. The athlete bled out on asphalt while his killer awaited police. Road rage escalated fatally. Gasser, with previous driving altercation history, took McKnight's aggressive lane changes personally. He followed the athlete unnecessarily off an exit. McKnight approached expecting confrontation. He found a weapon instead. Gasser's initial release sparked protests citywide. What followed was prolonged legal proceedings. A 1-0-2 manslaughter conviction, Supreme Court ruling overturning non-unanimous verdicts. Finally, a 2024 guilty plea. Justice moved with agonizing slowness while a young father remained buried. Joe McKnight was 28, training for a comeback that never materialized. His legacy isn't USC highlights, but a grim chapter in American road rage history. He didn't die for championships. He died for a lane change. Demetrius DuBose, the police shooting Notre Dame's golden child, captain, scholar, Tampa Bay Buccaneers' second-round selection. Demetrius DuBose carried himself with charismatic grace. July 1990. That grace met 13 police bullets on a San Diego sidewalk. The man who illuminated South Bend was extinguished in gunfire. Toxicology revealed alcohol, cocaine, and ecstasy. Location: Mission Beach. DuBose, locked from his rental, was mistaken for a burglar. The evidence: a blood-soaked sidewalk, a body struck 12 or 13 times, 5 in the back. This wasn't tactical response. It was overwhelming force against an unarmed, intoxicated, confused man spiraling. A confrontation over nunchucks preceded the shooting. Police claimed DuBose, a world-class athlete in drug-induced psychosis, wrestled the weapon from them. The narrative painted a superhuman athlete, so dangerous lethal force became necessary, even while fleeing. Despite 5 back wounds, authorities ruled the shooting justified. Officers faced no consequences. San Diego approached breaking point, with advocates citing this as another example of unarmed individuals killed by police. For Dubos's family, justification meant a second, more painful character assassination. Demetrius Dubos's name now accompanies modern systemic violence victims. He represents post-NFL struggles' dark intersection, where mental health, substance abuse, and police aggression collide fatally. Sierra Wood, the child's death Notre Dame standout running back with vision and speed. Sierra Wood inhabited elite performance realms where discipline and toughness reigned supreme. April 2019, those football virtues twisted into domestic horror weapons. In a Las Vegas apartment, the man paid to carry footballs participated in a 5-year-old girl's death. Victim Laraya Davis, Wood's girlfriend's daughter. Evidence wasn't statistics, but medical reports resembling battlefield summaries. 20 newly broken ribs, lacerated liver, internal bleeding in heart, diaphragm, and connective tissue. Bruises mapped her torso, legs, and abdomen grotesquely. This wasn't accident. It was systematic bodily destruction. Wood's stated motivation, toughening her up because she was chunky. He subjected a 5-year-old to professional-grade punishment workouts, wall sits, sit-ups, sprints until collapse. The apartment became an execution ground. 2024 brought Wood, now 33, before a judge answering for blunt force trauma ending Laraya's life. He entered an Alford plea, acknowledging guilt while claiming innocence. The girl's father delivered visceral justice pleas for a child who spent final months fearing home. Life imprisonment with 10-year parole possibility. Sierra Wood's legacy became ultimate cautionary tale. He didn't merely fail athletically. He failed the most fundamental human protection duty. He traded spotlights for cells, leaving behind a destroyed 5-year-old future. Malik McDowell, the public breakdown, 6'6", nearly 300 pounds. Malik McDowell was a physical marvel. Seattle Seahawks second-round pick with potential to dominate. He was mountainous muscle designed for quarterback destruction. January 2022. That frame wore no jersey. It wore nothing. The Michigan State standout was found wandering naked before a children's learning center. A billion-dollar career in complete free fall. Surreal Deerfield Beach, Florida. 911 calls flooded as teachers rushed children into bathroom lockdowns. Body cameras and security footage captured a naked NFL defensive tackle charging an officer at full speed with closed fist. This wasn't locker room conflict, but violent, drug-fueled psychosis before a preschool. Years prior, an ATV accident head injury derailed McDowell's career before it started, leaving brain trauma and erratic behavior trails. His lawyers cited unknowingly ingested substances. He rammed the officer, striking eye and temple. A taser brought him down. A man overpowering double teams lay helpless on asphalt, twitching under voltage. It ended the second chance Cleveland Browns granted, a moment where his body's raw power became his undoing. McDowell's career didn't end with retirement ceremonies, but bond court appearances in orange jail scrubs. His story investigates athlete mind fragility. He went from potential Hall of Fame trajectory to cautionary tale about talent lost when physical gifts outpace mental stability. Darren Sharper, the serial predator, 5 Pro Bowls. Saints Super Bowl ring. Polished NFL Network analyst. Darren Sharper was the ultimate role model. Smooth-talking, sharp-dressed veteran mastering the game inside out. But behind that billion-dollar smile lurked a serial predator. While analyzing coverages on television, he was systematically victimizing women across 4 states. Evidence emerged from nightclub shot glasses. Investigators uncovered terrifying patterns. Sharper targeted women at clubs, drugging drinks with zolpidem or alprazolam. waiting for unconsciousness. 9 women across California, Nevada, Arizona, and Louisiana recounted identical harrowing experiences. Blacking out, awakening in drug-induced stupors, having been violated. This was systematic soul destruction, orchestrated by someone believing himself untouchable. Sharper wielded NFL fame as a skeleton key for trust. He wasn't merely a rapist, but conspiracy architect, allegedly involving a sheriff's deputy and restaurant waiter. A New Orleans judge rejected lenient plea deals, calling them justice insults. A victim stood in court telling Sharper to go to hell. Federal judges handed down 18-year sentences, effectively erasing him from the sporting world. He pleaded guilty in 4 states, a tour of shame unmasking the golden boy as monster. Darren Sharper serves 2 decades. His name was scrubbed from record books and Hall of Fame considerations. His legacy proves the most dangerous hits aren't delivered on fields, but in calculated predator silence. Stanley Wilson Sr., the Super Bowl Eve collapse, Miami, 1989. Cincinnati Bengals prepared for immortality against Joe Montana's 49ers. Central to their strategy was Stanley Wilson Sr., an explosive fullback who'd conquered demons. But at the final team meeting, Wilson was absent, in a hotel bathroom, sacrificing his career, the championship dream, traded for white powder. Coaches found Wilson shivering naked on the floor, incoherent, surrounded by drug paraphernalia. This wasn't celebration, but execution. He'd vanished into cocaine binges exactly when teammates needed him most. Under NFL's 3 strikes policy, this wasn't just a missed game. It was lifetime banishment. The night's body count wasn't physical, but franchise championship hopes dying. The invisible opponent was addiction. Wilson had fought years, serving 2 prior suspensions. Head coach Sam Wyche described the locker room as funereal. The Bengals lost 2-0-1-6, heartbreakingly. A game where Wilson's power running could have mattered. While the world watched Montana drive downfield, Wilson sat hospitalized, his NFL life finished. The league ultimatum had been issued years prior. On the biggest stage imaginable, judgment fell. He was banned for life, a ghost before kickoff. Wilson's post-football life spiraled into 22-year prison sentences for burglary. His legacy isn't Super Bowl highlights, but the ultimate 1980s drug epidemic cautionary tale. A man holding the world Saturday night, waking Sunday morning, a pariah. Charles Grant. The nightclub tragedy. Charles Grant was a New Orleans Saints defensive front pillar, first-round pick who lived for trench warfare. He was a controlled aggression specialist, paid millions for quarterback hunting. But 2008, that aggression leaked from stadiums into a Blakely, Georgia nightclub. Control vanished, replaced by street fight chaos, ending in an innocent mother's death. Corinda Reed, 23-year-old mother of 2. Evidence wasn't tackles, but homicide investigations. While Grant didn't pull triggers, he was the spark. He was indicted for involuntary manslaughter, allegedly inciting the brawl, leading to gunfire. This wasn't a celebrated athlete in VIP booths, but a man participating in scenarios where ego and violence collided fatally. The hometown hero syndrome played out. Grant returned to roots but brought NFL intensity into civilian settings. Grant negotiated, pleading no contest to public affray misdemeanor, avoiding manslaughter charges but losing league respect. He paid fines, settled civil suits, attempted Saints returns. But the stray bullet followed him. Fans no longer saw a defender. They saw a man whose presence invited tragedy. Grant's career sputtered through short-lived stints and declining statistics. His legacy is Blakely's shadow. He reminds us that for NFL players, danger zones aren't always between white lines. Sometimes it's the world they left behind, waiting to pull them back. Greg Hardy. The Arsenal Greg Hardy was the Kraken, Pro Bowl Carolina Panthers defensive end, racking up 15 single-season sacks. He was a terrifying physical specimen, building his brand on intimidation and violence. But 2014, that violence transitioned from sport to nightmare. Inside a Charlotte apartment, the Kraken turned strength against his ex-girlfriend, creating visceral terror the NFL never truly recovered from. Evidence was graphic and haunting. Victim Nicole Holder described being strangled and thrown onto beds covered with assault rifles and shotguns. This wasn't mere domestic dispute, but staged psychological execution. She claimed Hardy threatened killing her, using massive frame to choke life until she saw nothing but stars. This was domestic horror brought home, an NFL superstar using literal arsenals as abuse backdrops. Despite judicial guilt findings, the case collapsed on appeal when the victim stopped cooperating, allegedly after massive civil settlements. Hardy showed zero remorse. The Dallas Cowboys, seeking talent over character, gave him a second chance that became PR disaster. Hardy's method remained constant, overwhelming force without regard for human cost. Hardy physically confronted his own coaches and teammates during games. It was the moment the world realized the Kraken couldn't be tamed or reformed. He wasn't misunderstood, but a liability whose presence threatened sport integrity. Exiled from the NFL, Hardy pivoted to MMA, legalized combat. But even there, his legacy remained pariah status. His name doesn't evoke sacks or Pro Bowls, but images of gun-covered beds and women fighting for breath. He represents the ultimate body count of a culture valuing winning over human life.